What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Hit the Books podcast for episode 34. We got a great first-round recap of the NHL here for Jens. Mackie not with us this week. He was down at the Penguins-Rangers Game 7 in New York. Penn's not able to make it happen. More on that later. Let's introduce my co-host, Tyler Huffnagel. Huff, what's going on, my man?
What's going on, everyone? Happy to be back for another week. We're going to get into these NHL Playoffs first-round results, see what we got here. Let's get right into it.
Good stuff, good stuff. Alrighty, let's jump into the West. Avs and Preds. Avs winning in 4, as we saw. Getting some time off here. What do you think?
Colorado dominated this entire series. Obviously, we knew what Nashville was coming in with the injury to UC Saros, their Vezina finalist goaltender who came into the playoffs with that injury that was bugging him. He wasn't able to go in games 1 or 2. I don't think he actually ended up playing in any of the games in that series, but the Avalanche were by far the better team throughout the entire series, obviously winning in 4. The first game, it was 3-0 before that backup goalie could even think about it. We were all over Colorado that whole series, and we definitely made some good money doing that. So Avs take the series 4-0. I think a lot of people kind of expected that, so I guess we'll get more into this next one, a little more to say about this next one.
Next, we got Wild and Blues. Blues winning the series 4-2. They're in 6 games. Crazy. I thought it was a great series. Fleury playing awesome throughout most of the series, but just them dropping him off there that last game. So I'm not sure. What do you think?
I was going to say it was interesting that they went to Talbot in the times that they did. I just think the fact that you trade for Fleury, obviously, if he's not on, and you don't think he's on that night, obviously you go to Talbot. That's the beauty of having 2 really good starting goalies. But whenever you trade for a guy like Fleury and you bring him in and, I don't know, you just kind of send the message that he's not your true one. You kind of running a 1A, 1B kind of scenario on the bench for the Minnesota Wild and goaltender. But yeah, if I were the Wild, I definitely would have used Fleury a little more. Obviously, the series that Kaprizov had, the Wild definitely had a nice season this year. They shocked a lot of people. I don't think a lot of people expected them really to even make the playoffs, but
not at all.
That team made a nice jump. So losing to the Blues in 6 games, it's definitely a team they've been there. They've done that, obviously winning the Cup in 2019 over Boston. So I think this is actually going to be a really hard test for the Avalanche to see what they can do against St. Louis. Obviously, it's not going to be anywhere near as easy as it was against Nashville, winning in 4. But the Blues coming off a 6-game series against a very good Minnesota team, it'll be interesting to see how this series plays out. Honestly, I'd be saying probably Avs in 6.
I'm probably in the same boat there. I think it's going to be a great series. Yeah, and Avs in 6. The Blues are going to have to give them a run for their money, I think.
Yeah. Blues are such a good defensive team, and when Binnington's going and Kyrou and all the big guys, like, they're so good whenever they're all buzzing. Even I can't think of the backup goalie's name. Ville Husso for the Blues, he's really good too. So like they're just a really solid team, and when they play at home on the home ice, they're really good. So St. Louis team or Colorado is gonna have to definitely look out for.
Looking forward to that. You want to do Flames and Stars next, or Oilers and Kings? All right, next, Oilers and Kings. Edmonton winning that series in 7. Another interesting series I really didn't think would go the full 7, but did, and I think that might have shocked a lot of people.
Yeah, I underestimated LA. I didn't think that they would kind of come out as hot as they did in this series. Obviously, guys like Philip Deneau and the veterans they have on their team with Kopitar and Brown, the guys that have won all those cups. Obviously, not having Doughty in this playoff series, but still having Jonathan Quick in net, another guy that was a part of those 2-time Stanley Cup winning teams. So despite being a really young team, their core from the early 2012, 2014 Cup years, their core was still there this year. And McDavid and the Oilers ended up being able to go into LA in Game 6 and get the win. And then come back home, get the win, Game 7 on their home ice, 2-0, big game. McDavid scores a huge goal to really ice the thing, put the dagger in them, and send LA packing. But Oilers are going to get the winner of Game 7 that's going on right now, obviously Dallas at Calgary. So it's going to be interesting to see who comes out of that one. I actually don't know what the current score is, but I think I think we're going to be seeing a battle Battle of Alberta between Calgary and Edmonton. It is actually 1-0 Dallas, so be interesting to see if Calgary comes back or if Dallas is able to sustain this lead. Ottinger's been sick this entire series for Dallas. If Dallas wins this game, Ottinger stole the series. Like, he was so good the entire time, especially with how low scoring each game was, keeping your team in it. The games they're winning like 2-1 or just so low scoring. Every total for this series has been set at like 5.5. I saw today it was 5, just so low. So definitely props to Jake Ottinger, and I mean, I guess Markstrom too, the goalie for the Flames, but Markstrom specifically has had a hell of a series for Dallas.
Couldn't agree more. Yeah.
I don't want to make a pick on this series yet because obviously I don't know if it's going to be Dallas or Calgary, but I would think Edmonton beats Dallas in 6 or beats Calgary in 7. I think they beat either team. I think this is going to be the year we get McDavid versus McKinnon.
That'd be nuts.
In the Western Conference Final.
Yeah.
Avalanche versus Oilers.
That'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
In this series, I wouldn't be surprised if the Stars win the night, but I think a lot of people are banking on the Battle of Alberta in the playoffs. Yeah. So we'll see what happens there. Alrighty, over to the Eastern Conference, starting with the Florida Panthers and the Washington Capitals. Panthers winning their series in 6.
Yeah, there was times throughout this series where Florida was like looking kind of sketchy. Like the one game, I think it was game 5, they were down 3-0. Caps blew the 3-0 lead, allowing Florida to come back, tie that thing up at 3, and I think they ended up winning the game 5-3. So obviously when you have a 3-0 lead, kind of similar to, we've seen it a lot these playoffs when teams kind of get one, they are able to get 2 or 3 quick ones and, change the, expectation of a game out just like that. So Florida definitely was able to do that. As they're called the comeback cats for a reason, and they close their series out in 6 and eliminate the Capitals. So definitely look out for Florida. A huge series coming up against Tampa Bay.
That's going to be such a fun one. Jumping into that one, Leafs and Bolts, Lightning winning in 7.
That was a crazy series. I mean, I predicted it to go to 7. I did end up picking Toronto because I did just think that this maybe was finally their year that they got it done, but did go 7, but Tampa Bay got it done. I did actually end up betting on Tampa Bay money line last night, so I did hit I think I got them plus 115 on FanDuel, so got a nice little plus money line on that. They ended up getting the win. I think it was 2-1, so hell of a game. The fourth line for Tampa Bay had both of the goals, so when your depth players show up big in big games, game 7s in the playoffs, so it's pretty easy to get the job done. Not necessarily easy, but it definitely helps whenever some of your superstars have some of the weight taken off of their shoulders and these depth guys are able to pick up the scoring. But yeah, Tampa Bay goes into Toronto, gets it done. Toronto yet to leave the first round since 2004. Insane. That's almost up to 20 years. I just don't know how you don't win a playoff series in 20 years. It's insane to me. Especially with how skilled Toronto's been over the years.
Yeah, they keep getting better.
Yeah.
So, odd. But I think the Panthers and Lightning are going to be a great battle of Florida.
Yep.
I'm excited for that one. We're going to have a lot of good second-round matchups coming up. But Hurricanes and Boston. Hurricanes winning the series in 7. This was a tight series. I love this series. I really thought Boston might have been able to do it there at the end, but Hurricanes were able to sneak it out in 7.
Yeah, I was really glad to see Boston lose. Teams like Carolina, they're really skilled, and they kind of had Boston's number all season and throughout the early part of this playoff series, and then Boston was able to take the series up to Boston, win their games on home ice. Defend home ice in Game 6, come back to Carolina for Game 7, and they just weren't able to get it done and convert on their chances. But, yeah, I mean, who knows what's going to happen with Boston, as Patrice Bergeron's now a free agent, so could be a new-look Boston Bruins in the near future. But, he said he doesn't want to announce what he's doing yet, as it's too much emotion behind his decision if he would have announced it right then and there. So definitely going to wait and see what Bergeron ends up doing. But, yeah, major props to the Carolina Hurricanes winning the series in 7. definitely look out for Carolina. I think they're a really skilled team who's getting healthy. You definitely want to have your best players in the lineup in the playoffs, so Carolina's getting their guys back at the right time.
Yes, and the Carolina Hurricanes will play the New York Rangers because in the Rangers-Penn series, Rangers winning the series 4-3 tonight. Disappointing game going into overtime. Penguins taking a penalty there in overtime. Can't do that and cost them the series.
Yeah, I mean, even you look back to the third period when you're winning that game 3-2 and 6.5 minutes left and you let Zibanejad. I mean, obviously the situation that happened with Pedersen with his helmet getting pulled off his head and the rule in the NHL where players have to leave the ice with their helmet off. I don't necessarily agree with that rule. I think a guy should be able to stay out there without his helmet on if he, chooses to. But a rule's a rule. Not going to complain about that. Not much you can do. But Zibanejad ends up tying it at 3 with 6 minutes or so left. We end up going to overtime. Tough call. Puts us in the box. I mean, not really a tough call. It's a bad penalty. But Rangers' power play has been legit all year, especially on their home ice. Panarin gets it done. Rangers win the series in 7, Game 7 overtime. I'm disappointed, definitely in my team, but I don't know if this team necessarily had it in them to make too deep of a run. Obviously, I had my little, bias high on them because they are my team that I root for, but there was a lot of holes in this team, the depth of the defense and the depth of offensive scoring that just wasn't showing up, but when guys like Gensel and Sidney are doing basically all the work, Gensel had 8 goals in this series. He only played 7 games. Guys like that. Crosby went off and he only played he didn't play 1 game. Rust with the 2 goals and all the assists. You need guys like, obviously Raquel was injured throughout the series, but you need guys like Heinen and McGinn and Rodriguez. You need those guys stepping up. Obviously Rodriguez scoring a big goal tonight, but it's going to be too little too late as the Rangers are moving on to play Carolina.
Tough loss there. You said it perfectly. Couldn't agree more. Everyone's got to step up. Everyone's got to play well. The defense is lacking. Lots of holes, like you said. But on that note, 5 out of the 8 first-round series are heading to Game 7. Second most in any round in NHL history.
That's crazy. I did realize there was a lot of Game 7s, but so what? Florida and St. Louis ended in 6. Avalanche was 4, and then every other series was 7.
Yep. Boston, Carolina, Bolts, Leafs, LA, Edmonton, Pens, Rangers, Dallas, Calgary.
Yeah.
Insane, honestly. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, as we look ahead at some of these matchups, obviously we're going to get into who we like, and I hate to jump off the page and doubt the Rangers, but to make a pick in that series, I think it's going to be a tough out for anyone to get Carolina, but we'll have to see. I think Tampa is able to take down Florida. I think we see a Tampa-Carolina matchup, and then Avalanche versus Oilers. Definitely would be a crazy end of the playoffs, but also wouldn't be surprising to me if the Rangers end up winning this series against Carolina. If they're not able to get some of their guys back, like Anderson, or there's a lot that could happen right now. Obviously, if Calgary can come back and win this game, you never know. They're not an easy out against the Oilers with that rivalry. So, tons of exciting stuff to come up. With the NHL playoffs, and we're only through 1 round. So, definitely going to want to stay tuned, and I can't wait for the second round, despite the Penguins not being there.
Second round's going to be good. Check for our picks and such this week on our next episode. Probably dropping Thursday.
Yeah, definitely. I'd say Thursday. We'll probably record Wednesday night, get it out to the fans Thursday. 2 episodes this week, back to normal next week. Wanted to do this, kind of push last week's episode back a little bit, recap the first round. No, basically not every round's over. Technically, Calgary and Dallas are still playing right now with Dallas up 1-0, but we wanted to kind of sit down and talk about the results of all the first round series. Definitely was able to do that. A little upset my team not moving on, and Mackey's going to come on here and Get to talk about the Rangers.
Give us hell.
Get to talk about the Rangers for another 2 weeks. You're in a series against Carolina, but it was a hell of a series. A lot, like you said, five series going to 7 games. Great first round of the playoffs so far, as it always is. So definitely excited to see how it plays out the rest of the way.
You're right about that. All right, that's going to do it for us here this week. Good stuff coming out of the first round. It's just ending here tonight, like Huff said, with Calgary and Dallas finishing it up. Round 2 starts tomorrow. Let's get it going.
Yeah, thanks for listening. Stay tuned this week. Obviously, as I said, 2 episodes this week, so episode Thursday back to normal. And as we look ahead at some of these second round matchups, definitely stay tuned to the Instagram, stay tuned to the Twitter and TikTok. So yeah, thanks for listening. We'll catch you guys on Thursday.
And that's going to do it for us this week on Hit the Books podcast. Thank you for all the support week in and week out. Please be sure to share and check out our various social media platforms and check out our website. All the info is located in our link tree in the description below. And always remember to hit the books.